Good morning. Welcome to Tea, Coffee, and Torah, Episode 7. I'm running a little late this morning. We had a little bit of an issue this morning. One of our people in our house was feeding the chickens and got caught on the wire and ripped his leg open pretty bad. So we had to glue that shut. So that took a little bit of time. So hence running late. As you know, I've always said that, I love doing these. I've had some really, really good response to this series. However, I always try to keep family first. And with the emergency that we had this morning and taking care of that wound, we had to do that first. But what I do want to talk about, and this is something I would like to do as an ongoing series, and I would like your input. So I'm going to give you something that I would like for you to contribute, because I don't want this to just be about what I'm thinking or what some of the things that I've studied. I'd like to learn from you. And if there's questions that you have or input you would like to have regarding a biblical text, I'm not going to know unless you share your thoughts. So please share in the comments below. You can PM me, or you can just post to my wall, because I would really love to hear some of the issues that you have struggled with in your scriptural studies. Today, I want to specifically address the idea of anachronisms as well as cultural context. I have been, in this movement for 25 years. I won't say that very loudly, but it's been a long time, long enough that I have seen so many thoughts and so many different, I would say, knee-jerk reactions to things that are in the text, things that people say, oh, wait, that can't be true. And I hate to say it, but scholars are some of the guiltiest parties with this. They'll see something that has a foreign influence. Maybe it's a pagan influence. And just because it's in scripture, they say, well, this can't be true. This can't be something that is legitimate. And they will throw the whole text out, or they'll throw portions of the text out. So I want to address some of these issues and what should we expect from a historical text. I think the easiest way, perhaps the laziest way, is we want everything whitewashed, where it's very antiseptic, where, okay, here we have the regulations of the Torah. It flows completely through the Old Testament or the Tanakh, and there's no reference to satire, or there's no, literary functions that we use today. We think that maybe they were too primitive, or maybe writing hadn't advanced to the point where they could use some humor, some tongue-in-cheek, or even satire to mock or ridicule foreign gods, foreign nations, or ideals. So I want to kind of address some of these ideas, because it really changes the way we approach scripture and the way that we think about it. And even more so when you get into scholarship, what you accept as valid and what you do not. I think there's a lot of logical errors that we make in constructive biblical criticism. And I think it's time to revisit some of those and address them head on, because I think we're going to learn and grow and come away with a deeper meaning of the text. So I want to give you just one short example, and that is today, something in modernly. When I see somebody who has wronged other people, they've treated people badly, they've just really not been that good of a person. And then in their own life, they experience some sort of hardship. Maybe they treated somebody poorly, and then that person ends up being a future prospective employer that is going to employ them, and they're not going to hire them because they know how this person treats people. Well, I might refer to that as karma. That is a modern term, but it expresses the biblical idea of reaping and sowing. Now, just because I use the word karma, does it mean that I am extolling or I'm giving validity to Buddha or Hinduism, which is where the term originates? Or am I just simply expressing the notion of reaping and sowing, of what comes around goes around? So those are some of the ideas I'd like to discuss with you. But more than that, I would like to hear the texts that you have found challenging in Scripture. What are some things that you see either anachronistically or something that you see as being, a cultural influence that you don't think should be there? And should it or should it not? One thing that we're going to discuss next time in our next section or in our next episode is going to be Deuteronomy 30. I love the text where it states that the Torah is easy to do. It's not in the heavens that you have to go get it. It's not beyond the sea. And most of us, when we deal with this text, we just take it at face value. We'll use Scripture in context, which is the idea that you're reading Scripture with within the chapter, within its context within Scripture, which is very important to do. But when we don't go to history, when we don't see the ideas that were relevant to the time that Moses said those words or the time that Israel lived, when we don't go back in history and we miss out on the rich meaning and the rich legacy that can take us to a deeper meaning and a better way to apply it to our daily lives. There is the adage, and it's so true. Those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it. However, it's not just understanding that history, it's understanding that cultural context that influenced those words to be written. So that's what we're going to do in our next time. And believe it or not, we're going to find that ancient literature like Gilgamesh actually have a strong relevance to many of the things that are written in Scripture. Some of the things Scripture agrees with, other things Scripture challenges and confronts head on. You never really find a prophet or someone in Scripture, whether it's Moses, it doesn't matter who, you never really find them doing things that are just head on, one per one. What you find is they discuss more the concepts and ideals. So next time we're going to kind of see how Gilgamesh relates to Deuteronomy in a couple aspects, and how Deuteronomy, Moses, challenges the notions of the day. So this is just an introduction. Please join me next time for another episode of Tea, Coffee, and Torah. Have a great day.